It's done. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And Yash, Sridham will be reciting Sanskrit today, and Yash will recite English. I'm going to mute everybody so there's no background noises. Yash and Sridham, you can unmute yourself and begin the recitation, Sridham, with the Om Namo Bhagavate prayers.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 28.
Tha nadinam bhavamavu vega samudrane bimukha dravanti tatatavami naraloka vira vishanti bhaktrani apijegalanti.
As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths.
Yata pradittam javalanam patanga vishanti nasaya samriddha vega tateva nasaya vishanti lokas tavapi bhaktani samriddha vega.
I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths, as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire.
Dehaya se grasamana samantar lokan samagran vandane jalabdabi tejo birapurya jagat samagram vasastavogra patapanti Vishnu.
O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays.
Akyahi me ko bhavanugra rupo namostu deva vara prasiddha vijantum ecchami bhavantamadhyam nahi prajanami tava pravritim.
O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know all about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kalosmi Lokashaya Krit Pravriddho Lokan Samahartam Iha Pravritaha Rite Pitam Naha Bhavishanti Sarve Avashtita Pranyanikeshu Yodaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I've come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
Tasmat Tamuttishta Yaso Labasva Yoga Saturvamsya Vridyam Samritam Maye Vitani Hatapurvameva Nimittamatram Bhavasavya Sakshin.
Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer all your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight.
Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadratam cha Karnam tatanyan apiyoda viran Maya hatam stam jahimatyatishta Yodhyasya chetasirane saptanan.
Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, and Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, you kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle.
Sanjaya Vacha Etat Shruta Vajanam Keshavasya Etanjalirvepamana Kriti Namaskritva Bhuya Evaha Kritsnam Sagadagadambita Bhita Pranamya.
O greater one, greater than even Brahma, you are the original creator. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows.
Arjuna Vacha Sanehri Kesha Tava Prakritya Jagat Parasyat Anujayate Cha Lakshamsi Bita Nidisos Dravanti Sarve Namashyanti Cha Siddha Sangha.
Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done.
Kasvachatena namaren mahatman gari yashe brahmanapi adhikarte ananta devesha jagannivasa tamaksharam sadasat tatparam yat.
O great one, greater than even Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation.
Namadi deva purusha puranas tamasya vishvasya param nidanam vedasya vedyam cha param cha dhamma taya tatam vishvamananda rupa.
You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes, a limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you.
Mayuryamogner varuna sasanka vajapatistam papita mahascha namo namaste sahasra kripa punascha bhuyopi namo namaste.
You are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and yet again.
Nama purastad ataprastadaste namostute sarvata eva sarva ananta viryam itavakramastam sarvam samapnosi tatosi sarva.
Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, thus you are everything.
Okay. Yeah. Saketi matma prasabam yaduktam he Krishna he Yadava he Saketi ajanata mahimanamam tavidam maya pramadat pranayena vapi pachavaharstam asakritusi iha rasasya sanabhojaneshu ekotavapi achita tatsamashkam tat chamayetam aham aprameyam.
Thinking of you as my friend, I have rushly addressed you. O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses.
Gita silokasya characharasya tamasya pujyascha gurur gariyan natat samosti abad ikakuttanyo lokatayepi apritma prabhava.
You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, O of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipful chief, the spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there have been anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power?
Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadayetam ahamishan devyam piteva putrasya sakeva sakyu priya priharasi deva suddham.
You are the supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask for your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, or a friend tolerates the impertinence of a friend, or a wife tolerates the familiarity of the husband, her partner, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done.
Adrista parvam rishitosmi dristva bhayena chapravyutitam mano me tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasiddha devesha jagannivasa.
After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead. O Lord of Lords, O Lord of the universe.
Kirtinam gadinam chakrahastam yachami tam dastam aham tateva teneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishvamurte.
O universal form, O thousand-armed form, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, reel, and conch and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Prasanena Tavarjuneddam Rupam Param Darsitam Atmayogat Tejomayam Vishpamanantamadhyam Tanmetad Ananyena Nadrista Purvam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily I have shown you by my internal potency the Supreme Universal Form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence.
Na Vedayadna Vaniryadanir Na Chakyabhir Na Tapo Birokre Evam Rupa Sakya Aham Niroke Dashtum Tat Anyena Kuru Pravira.
O best of Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances, can I be seen in this form in the mature world.
Mate Vyutatma Javimutta Bhavo Drispa Rupam Goramidrin Mamedam Yapeta Bihi Pritasmana Purastvam Tadeva Me Rupamidam Prapasya.
You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished, my devotee. Be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind you can now see the form you desire.
Sanjaya Vacha Iti Arjunam Vasudevastatoka Sakam Rupam Darshayama Sabhuya Ashavasan Asachabitan Enam Bhutva Punam Somya Vapur Mahatma.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the faithful Arjuna.
Arjuna Vacha Visvedam Manusam Rupam Visvedam Manusam Visvedam Manusam. I don't know this thing.
Vedam Manusham Rupam Tavaso Yam Janardana Edanim Asmi Samvarta Sacheta Prakritim Gata.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardana, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sudurudarsam idam rupam Ristavan Ashiyan Mama Deva Apiyasya Rupasya Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear.
Aham viderna tapasa nadanena chachejyaya sakya evam vidodastam ristavan ashimam yataha.
The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am.
Bhaktyata anyanya sakya aham evam vidorjana natam dastam cha tabenena aveshtam cha parantapa.
My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding.
Mat karma kran mat paramo mat bhakta sangvarijita nirvera sarva bhuteshu yasamam eti pandava.
My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation. He who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Om Tat Sat. Thank you so much, Sridham and Yash. That was very nicely recited. A beautiful chapter, which we are now in the second part of this chapter. Just before I forget, I wanted to make an announcement that Santosh Mataji will be doing the rota for the next month. And she would like to, and I think it is a good idea, if any one of you who have not had the opportunity to recite the chapter, because every day we have devotees who take turn and recite the chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So if you have not had the opportunity yet to recite the chapter, then please you can contact Santosh Mataji. Santosh Mataji, you can send your number to everybody on the chat message so they can message you that yes, they would like to recite. Our recommendation is that unless you are confident for Sanskrit, perhaps try for English. But if you feel yes, you practice and you're able to pronounce the verses correctly, then absolutely you can give it a shot and try it that way. So Santosh Mataji will share the details, and you can all put forward your request, and she will put together a rota. So thank you so much, Santosh Mataji, for doing this service.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. So welcome again, everybody. This evening, we've just finished recitation of chapter, and where we concluded yesterday, I made a suggestion and all of you felt it was a good idea that if I covered a little bit about Sankirtan and why, we emphasize on book distribution so much. So, I mean, I have quite a few slides. We will see how much I can cover. If you're able to cover today, great. If not, then it may go over 2 days. So today and tomorrow. So let's make it a start. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So as we were discussing yesterday, that there is a way of advancing in spiritual life, and our acharyas and our mentors, our seniors explained to us that when we practice our own sadhana sincerely and also with the same mood we try to share that with others, that helps us advance faster in our Krishna consciousness. So amongst these many activities, Sankirtan, or more specifically the book distribution, is one activity which Srila Prabhupada personally, when he was here, he very much emphasized among many other services, but this was really his heart, as most of you probably already know. So this Prabhupada writes in a letter, seeing the fierce army of illusions put forward by the forces of Kali Yuga, Srila Prabhupada, this is from Sriman Kushakrata. Srila Prabhupada has released an unlimited shower of powerful arrows in the form of his books. So Srila Prabhupada books are like a panacea or the solution to all the problems of the material world, actually, especially in Kali Yuga, where we are faced with so many anomalies and so many difficulties. But this knowledge, which is coming in line of the disciplic succession, evam parampara praptam imam rajar sayo vidu sakalene mahata yogo nashta parantapa. This knowledge is coming in the disciplic succession and is being delivered now down to us through Srila Prabhupada and his dear disciples. And it is the same books which are actually propounding the same knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the preface to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, that this transcendental knowledge is actually reality distinguished from illusion for the benefit of all. So in the Kali Yuga, there is no clarity. We do not have a vision. Most people do not know from a spiritual perspective what should be our goal. But these books of Srila Prabhupada can give us that light in this age of darkness. So today we'll try and cover a few elements like our legacy. We will try to cover 4 laws of book distribution. And then I briefly touch about the monthly Sankirtan festival, which we were having before the lockdown. And we are going to start again very soon. It may not necessarily mean literally going out, but it may, we will try to improvise this monthly Sankirtan festival based on the current circumstances and do it bit like this. And we will explain that more closer to the time. So first of all, I wanted to explain the word sampradaya. Sampradaya means the complete gift. As I just said to you, you can see this beautiful disciplic succession. Uh, Actually, I must first of all admit and share with you that the presentation I'm presenting to you is also a bit like parampara. It's been passed on to me by my spiritual master. Most of it is his realizations. I'm still a very small kid round the block trying to follow my spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. So there are certain things which I'll share of my experiences, but this presentation is completely a make and coming out of the realizations of 42 years of book distribution of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu actually, and many other devotees who he has taken inspiration from. So the word sampradaya means to give, and as you can see in this beautiful chain from Krishna to Brahma, of course there are many other in between, but we can see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and then perhaps one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples who's sitting there and being passed on this wonderful disciplic this wonderful disciplic succession, this knowledge. And our legacy is to now pass that on further, because in the chain of disciplic succession, if you take something and do not pass it on, one, you haven't done the justice to that knowledge, because it has to go down without a shadow of a doubt. Like how we pass on our inheritance to our children, and our surname to our children. So like this transcendental knowledge, it's our legacy, and we need to, in order to live the legacy, we got to pass it on. And here you see who's this personality worshipping Shaligram with Ganga Jal and Tulsi Maharani. Who can tell me who's this personality? That's right. So Advaita Acharya was praying to his Shaligrams for the descent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he could see the pain of the people who were suffering in this world. And Advaita Acharya being himself none other than the incarnation, one of the Panchatattva incarnation. And which Panchatattva incarnation is Advaita Acharya? Who will tell me?
Mahavishnu.
Yes, and one more?
Oh, Mahavishnu.
Sadashiva, that's right. So Mahavishnu and Sadashiva combined together, taking that mood of compassion. He is now crying to his shaligrams and worshipping with Tulsi Maharani and with Gangajal, and praying, let my Lord Chaitanya descend in this earth to inundate this world for the want of the love of Godhead with Krishna consciousness. And what happened? Were his prayers were heard by Mahaprabhu, by Krishna?
Yes.
Yes, they were. And as they were heard, who appeared? Krishna appeared in the home of Sachi Mata as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or as Nimai, because he was born under the tree, named under the tree of Neem tree. And he, when he was born, it was such an auspicious time, but he was constantly crying until all the neighborhood friends and everybody gathered together and started to chant the name of Krishna, saying Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And only then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually pacified and he kept quiet. So 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to, mainly amongst his many teachings, he gave us 2 primary teachings. And those were chant Hare Krishna, and second was teach others. So if I could ask you all to unmute yourself now for just about 10 seconds, all of you. And I will say one thing, you say the other thing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to teach us Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach others.
Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach
Hare Krishna.
No, you have to repeat the other one. When I'm saying chant Hare Krishna, you have to tell me the
Teach
second thing,
others.
Ma'am.
Teach others.
Okay, that was on the scale of 1 to 10. That was like a 4. So let's try again. Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach others.
Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach others.
Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach
Teach
others.
others.
Teach others.
Chant Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Teach others.
Chant
Hare Krishna.
Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach
Teach
others.
others.
Chant Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Great. That was 10 out of 10. Well done, everybody. So Chaitanya,
That's
you
amazing.
can.
Just like Vashishika Prabhu.
Oh, is it? So you can mute yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to follow him, Mataji. There's no intention of copying him. So here
No, I
you
know Prabhu.
you're just trying to, what Mahaprabhu is teaching us, that we chant the holy name and we teach others about that, the glories of the holy name. And these transcendental books are actually none other than the glorification of the holy names. And what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did along with all the Panchatattvas? He broke open the marketplace of the holy name. And how did he do that? Because Lord Chaitanya predicted that this holy name will go into every town and village. And first the Panchatattva, they started in in Mayapur. There is a very beautiful place called Srivasangan. Just in this place, the congregation chanting of Hare Krishna began in a very enclosed doors, actually, with amongst the very close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Srivas, and many close devotees. And then, because everybody was experiencing the bliss, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then desired that that same bliss to be shared by the entire world. So he made a prediction that this name will be proclaimed all over the world, or chanted all over the world. And then Lord Chaitanya's moment becomes hidden after Mahaprabhu leaves, after our Goswamis gives us a literature. Between that, there was some gap. And then who came? And then this exalted personality descended in 1891, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who renewed the marketplace of the holy name. He re-established the same Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya very, very concretely, emphasizing specifically on the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and establishing the fact that these teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu given in Chaitanya Charitamrita and many other literature coming from the Goswami is the topmost teachings in the entire eternity which one can have, actually. And at that time, many other sampradayas were coming in place, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur very clearly established that this is the only path where one can make a steady, fast, and a very good progress in Krishna consciousness. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur reopened that marketplace and made the holy name accessible to everybody. And today we will hear how he did that in one of the bhajans, which I'll be requesting Hema Mataji to sing at the end. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was at Surabhi Kunj. It's a beautiful place in Mayapur where the marketplace of the holy name was again open, as I said. And he predicted that there will be a ray of Vishnu. He prayed actually for a ray of Vishnu to appear, a personality. And those were the two things. He begged for a ray of hope, and a personality will soon appear who will take this all over the world. So some acharyas explains that both of these could be related to Bhaktisiddhanta, but the first one was obviously Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but the second one is related to both Bhaktisiddhanta and A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he emphasized on the bhajan aspect very much, and on the sadhu sangha and the holy name. And through the inspiration of him, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took the orders, and he depended on the holy name very, very intensely. And he, for many years, he sat in Chatak Parvat in a very beautiful place in Jagannath Puri to chant lakhs of names every day, actually. And this is the place where, before leaving this world, Srila Prabhupada for the second time wrote to his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada was in Bombay traveling for his business, his pharmacy business during those times, and he wrote a letter to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that, my dear Guru Maharaj, all of your sincere disciples are serving you so very closely. However, I do not know how can I serve you so nicely. I'm a grahastha bounded by so many difficulties. And Srila Prabhupada got the same reply which he had it earlier time when he returned to Bhaktisiddhanta, saying that I want you to preach this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English language in the Western world. And that was the last instruction Prabhupada had, which was written by Bhaktisiddhanta from Chatak Parvat, where he was performing his bhajan actually. And then he sent few devotees to Burma and England to try and preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They tried, but however, they weren't as successful as our dear Srila Prabhupada was. So this is, we see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said to Srila Prabhupada that if you ever get money, print books. Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master on few occasions, and this particular occasion was at the banks of Radhakund, so a very prominent place, surcharged with transcendental emotions and full empowerment, because it's the topmost place in the spiritual world. So even the places have a significance. Sometimes our spiritual master or our senior devotees, we meet them in Dham and they give us a special instruction. Know it for sure that because it's been given in a special place, it will also carry an extra empowerment and a special potency. So at the Tat of Radhakund, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said he was having some problems in his Gaudiya Math. He made a new temple. And at that time, that temple, people were, some of his disciples were arguing with each other and fighting that I would like to have this room and I would like to have that room. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Pad said to Srila Prabhupada, I wish I could sell those rooms, and with each piece of the marble, I could print books. So Prabhupada in a lecture says, I took this from the mouth of my spiritual master. He was fond of books. He was really fond of books, Prabhupada says. And that's why I'm asking you, where is book? Where is book? Where is book? You'll recall this lecture of Srila Prabhupada. Where is the book? Where is the book? Like that. He's all the time asking, where are the books? So you see, it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam that these instructions of the spiritual master are the manifestation of the internal potency of the Lord. They are directly coming from Srimati Radharani, because it's directly manifesting from the Haladini Shakti, which is fully empowering and fully potent. And because Prabhupada took it from the mouth of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was completely empowered to take this holy name in the form of these transcendental books, which Bhaktisiddhanta called them Brihat Mridanga, all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what Srila Prabhupada did so nicely throughout his life. Wherever he went, he translated the books. Whatever he did, among many other things, whenever the news of the books will come, either printing, transcribing, or distribution, Prabhupada used to get up and he said, I always felt like a young man when I heard the scores of my books being distributed. So you see how much, what kind of dedication and what kind of commitment Srila Prabhupada had towards his spiritual master. Look, as I said to you, I took up this from his mouth that he's very fond of books. And then Prabhupada decided to spread the same marketplace, which was opened by, first it was opened by, actually it was opened by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then it was closed for some time. Then it was opened by Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shamananda Pandit, as we heard in one of the sessions. Then it was reopened by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And then it was again reopened by Srila Prabhupada for our benefit. And who was Prabhupada? Prabhupada was an ambassador of goodwill, because he had this desire of taking the message of Bhagavatam all over the world. To that point, when Prabhupada was finally leaving India to come to West, his passage was confirmed by Srimati Morarji to Board Jaladuta. Prabhupada was asked, oh, so you're going to West? And Prabhupada said, no, I'm not going to the West. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to the West, and I'm going with them. That was the mood of Prabhupada. He completely took Bhagavatam as a supreme personality of Godhead, and he said, I'm going with Lord Krishna in that sense, actually. And we know from his poem Markini Dharma, which Prabhupada writes on board Jaladuta, that I'm feeling the presence of my Lord, and especially Radha Damodar, I'm missing them. And then he writes in one passage, just before he was about to reach, that last night the ocean was still, was very, very calm. It has never been seen, the captain commented in many lives. Looks like Lord Krishna took, no, not looks like, Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna took the charge of the ship personally, actually. So you see, Prabhupada was carrying the Lord in his heart and outside all the time. So he was the ambassador of goodwill. So what did he do? He did 60 volumes. He wrote of elaborate version in English all over the world for the scientific knowledge of God. That was the aim of Srila Prabhupada, to give it to us. And what was his plan? His plan was, by printing the books, we can actually inject our movement into the masses of people all over the world. Prabhupada writes in a letter to Hridayananda Maharaj on 21st of December 1974. Please pay attention to these words, Prabhus and Matajis. By printing books, we can actually inject our movement into the masses of people all over the world. You see, the books are like an idea seeds, as it is explained in the book called Our Family Business, written by His Grace Vaishashika Prabhu. It's a BBD book. And in that, he explains that these books are like idea seeds. So when these seeds are sown in the society or spread in the society, they generate spiritual ideas for the people. And people start to get some idea of what the goal of the life is, what I should be doing, and where am I going, and what am I doing actually. And then Prabhupada's plan was similar to Lord Chaitanya's plan, because Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of God, because all the associates of Mahaprabhu was feeling this bliss. We hear from the lives of Narottam Das Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they were always in bliss. And so they wanted that everybody else should taste the same nectar actually. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to deliver all of us. And Prabhupada had a same plan. He said, I like this idea of distributing books and preaching. That is Lord Chaitanya's plan. Do you see the sync and the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada? How much they were connected. This is the difference between any other acharyas who are preaching the Gauravani versus anybody who's just talking about Lord Krishna. Taking the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu is described directly by Narottam Das Thakur in a bhajan, that if we take to the worship of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu through the congregation chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will dive on the one shore of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and come off from the other shore, which is the shore of Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu is making the Vrindavan Dham very, very accessible to us through his Sankirtan pastimes. So this is an open secret. It's not a hidden secret. And anybody who accepts this and tries to work on this plan of Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, you will feel the same energy, empowerment, and the same kind of spirit running in you, which was there in Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. It may not to be the same degree like how Srila Prabhupada was empowered. He was a pure devotee of the Lord. But even the drop coming from the pure devotee has the same quality of devotion, which the drop we are going to experience one day by studying, chanting, and distributing the holy name. Distributing books is also Sankirtan. Prabhupada said that regarding Sankirtan and book distribution is also chanting. It is like a spoken Kirtan. He said, print as many books as in as many languages and distribute them throughout the world. He said, just like the communists, they are very expert in distributing their literature. We must print hundreds and thousands of books and distribute them at the same speed. This is written in a letter to Rameshwar Prabhu. We see that how the watchtowers, or the Gideon's Bible for that matter, let's have a look at the Gideon's Bible. They're spread over 200 countries, more than 100 languages. And in 2016 alone, this is an old data, they distributed 91.8 million copies. Imagine that. I mean, we are nowhere close of distributing. I mean, yes, definitely till now, I think I can't remember last we were looking at, the numbers were like 5 billion Bhagavad Gitas or something have been distributed, but we are nowhere close in terms of the total number of years and how the Gideons are making progress in making the Bible available. So why not take to this transcendental spirit? And the reason many of our senior disciples of Prabhupada explained that in the previous times, ladies and gentlemen, as you will probably agree with me, most devotees used to live in the temple, including there would be ladies ashram and gentlemen ashram, Prabhu's ashram, and everybody will get up in the morning for Mangal Aarti, have the morning program, and every one of them will be asked, not asked, will be inspired to go out on Harinam and book distribution every single day, apart from one cook and one pujari who will be left behind to take care of the temple. And I recall one time I heard from Shivram Maharaj many years ago at Bhaktivedanta Manor, when Maharaj used to come here. This is going back quite a long ago. There were like 300 devotees living at the manor in the old building. And Maharaj would come and he will see that in the night, the devotees, just outside Prabhupada's room, quarters on the first floor near the stairs, there is like a little edge on the window. You will probably see where you can sit and eat prasadam or talk to the devotees behind where the Matajis make the garland. So even on that edge, there would be a brahmachari sleeping actually. That's how crammed the temple was with the devotees living inside. So because there were so many devotees living inside and they all used to go out, there was a lot of Hare Krishna presence. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj says that even if people see a Vaishnava wearing a tilak, having a bead bag, or what to speak of chanting the congregation, chanting of the holy name, even then they will make spiritual advancement. So the devotees, the Hare Krishna movement was seen all over the world. So the reason now the book distribution has taken a little bit of dip and now it's again on the peak is because there has been a lot of shift. Many devotees are living outside, have family responsibilities, but the way the book distribution has been now revolutionized across the world, especially through the example of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and many other devotees, that it is a fun activity. Even the family and the children and everybody can get involved actually. So we have a way to go, and the direct order of the Lord, as I said, is a manifestation of his internal potency. And this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. This is directly from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 9th chapter, 34th verse. That when we take that instruction, we follow the instruction, then we are in sync with the same instruction. That means this same instruction will become the very means for us to meet with our beloved Lord one day through the medium of our spiritual masters. So this is the request of Srila Prabhupada. He's saying, kindly help me. This is my request. So I'm going to, Prabhupada is saying, I want that all my students shall very vigorously try for this book distribution. This was Prabhupada's desire. Wherever he wanted everybody to at least learn the great art of book distribution. And the magical thing of this book distribution is that once you get hooked, or even if you try or make an attempt, there are many examples on this call, like many, Divya Gaurangi Mataji, Hema Mataji, so many of you, in fact, all of you to some degree or other, who probably tried for book distribution. Of course, you have tried other books, but in the Bhadra, you went straight for Bhagavatam and you started off thinking, how can I do 1, 2, or 5 sets? And you landed up doing 20 or 25 sets. Palika Mataji did 25 sets of Bhagavatam. Hema Mataji did more than 18, 19 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. So why this happened? Because you decided to take the instruction of Srila Prabhupada to your heart. And Prabhupada, and the same instruction, I have to go back to this verse. Let's repeat after me. If you could unmute yourself, because this is such a powerful instruction directly coming from Lord Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. So kindly repeat after me. The direct order of the Lord
Direct order of the Lord
is a manifestation of his internal energy.
is a manifestation of his internal energy.
And this particular energy
This particular energy
is the means of seeing the Lord face to face.
is the means of seeing the Lord face to face.
Thank you very much. You can mute yourself. So I want that you, all my students, shall very vigorously try for this book distribution. So I want to now, I think there's plenty of material to cover. We will cover it probably tomorrow. All I want you to do is just pause it for a few moments and take few seconds to think about what's happening in the world. Look at the COVID situation in the last few months, how the world has gone up, down. And why do you think, despite all of this, we had such a huge success of Srimad Bhagavatam distribution? Can anybody give me a reason why people are so, we can see the people are struggling with the finances, that's for sure. That would have meant many people should have not bought Bhagavatam because it is a costly book. But why do you think there was, the Bhagavatam went out in thousands, 21,000 Bhagavatam sets? The goal was 10,000. We have never passed 7,200 in a year in the last 2 years. So can somebody give me a reason why 21,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets got distributed this year?
They want the spiritual knowledge. They're looking for
Absolutely.
spiritual life.
Yeah, so the first point is they're looking for spiritual life. Palika Mataji, what are you going to say?
Yes,
Please share.
that's what I said. They're looking for beyond the material existence, beyond. So they were
So,
looking something beyond material existence,
absolutely.
knowledge.
Yes, Prabhuji, this is
The
what
love and
I'm requesting everybody. Ye dekho. So the point I'm trying to make here is that there are two main reasons why it happened.
the love and the faith has grown in them.
Yes, yes. I'm going to mute everybody if that's okay. There's some background noise coming. So the reason it has happened is twofold in my small capacity of understanding is one, first of all, it is a plan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we just learned. Because it is desired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this Bhagavatam has to be distributed. It is the Amala Puran. It is the topmost literature, completely authorized by our acharyas and has to go out. And also the same plan, which is related to the first point, Prabhupada said that I want every respectable person to have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So despite the COVID situation, ladies and gentlemen are still living and they are receiving Srimad Bhagavatam in the world. And the second point is, like what you summarized, is people are struggling to get answers for their question that how come this suffering has come upon us? I did not ask for it. What is the reason I'm having to go through these financial stress, uh, so many mental issues and so many problems? And when they hear there is a book called Srimad Bhagavatam, which can possibly answer all of the questions which I'm going through, then they will accept it. And I mean, you can think, okay, the price is this and that, but it's not what Bhagavatam is offering. You can't really put a price to it. So let's just do a few more slides and we will stop. So this is directly from the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is saying, there is no servant in this world who's more dear to me than the one who's distributing this knowledge to the others. So take it for sure, the blessings are there of Lord Krishna directly in this path. And then the same instruction is coming through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's saying, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Especially if anybody has any connection with the Bharatvarsha land, it is their prerogative to perfect their life and teach Hare. So what were the two things? Chant Hare Krishna.
Teach others.
Teach others. Yes. So thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us. And simply by this attempt, you will get superior strength and knowledge about Krishna consciousness. This is Prabhupada is writing in a letter to Nandarani and Dayanand on April 29, 1968. And finally, I wanted to mention, as I said, this is a rapid way to make spiritual advancement. Why? I'll give you an example of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's a nice meditation to sort of end with. And then we'll see if we can have a look, couple of more slides, especially around Bhadra. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that when you go out to try and preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which you're trying to carry it on your head, which is the topmost message, people may not accept it. People may reject you. But when you take that rejection, that same rejection infuses your body with chitta rakta for your chit sharira. You get a spiritual blood for your spiritual body through that rejection. Why? Because you become humble. You think, I do not know anything. You know, I'm nobody. All I did is I became an instrument. My spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, asked me to go out and preach. I preached. They shut the door on me. Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur went door to door. So many times the doors were slammed even at that time on these exalted personalities. What to speak of a person like myself or anybody for that matter? Who am I if somebody slams the door? Of course, if I'm puffed up in my ego, I may say something bad, but there comes the real test. Whatever we are trying to practice, when you tell other person, when you call up on the phone, like all of you have been doing, Prabhu, you know, I've heard this Vrindavan Chand Prabhu is an amazing devotee. He's doing this Bhadra project, and there is a wonderful book called Srimad Bhagavatam. It can answers all the question. Why do you keep calling me all the time? You know, I'm just not interested about this spirituality. So if you want to call, don't call me next time. If you want to talk to me about this Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, I have a least bit of an interest in this. And they hang the phone on you. Please take it, even that as a mercy. Sutapa Prabhu says, a devotee on the street learns how to take a no in a style. That was favorite line of Sutapa Prabhu. If you've seen him doing a book distribution, he says in his so many classes that best of my realization comes not by reading. Of course, reading because that's the perfect knowledge, but they come on the street when people reject me and when I'm there. And if one person says no, with the same beaming smile, Sutapa Prabhu turns to another person actually. And that's what you do. You get spiritual blood for your spiritual body, ladies and gentlemen. So take it for granted, try it, and you will feel that mercy when you become this small and people will say, no, I'm not interested, go away. So I will cover the 4 laws of book distribution tomorrow, and the Bhagavad Gita, how to distribute it on its own merit. So we will stop here and take a couple of comments or reflections you may have. I wanted to share the Bhadra slides with you because Vrindavan Chand Prabhu shared that result with all of you. So let me just share those 2 slides as our, so here it is. Our goal for UK was 500 sets. In 2018, we did 180 sets in UK. In 2019, last year, we went down to 162. Manor did 135 last year and 150 previous year actually. And this year, knowing that we had gone down, we went ahead and took it on our head that we will try to do 500 sets. And we begged all the temples across UK to take part. And we said, we will cover the majority chunk. We take 300 Bhagavatam sets. Vrindavan Chand Prabhu said, I'll take it on my head. And we said, I'll take it on my head. And all you do is take 200. And somehow or other, we prayed to Srila Prabhupada. And by the help of all of you and all the other devotees across UK, you can see the results are in front of you. Bhaktivedanta Manor did 325 sets of Bhagavatam. Manchester did 30 sets. Their goal was 20 they wanted to do. Wales wanted to do 50. That was their goal. This is, Prabhupada says every devotee should have a fresh challenge. That's why the goals are very, very important. When you put a goal and you put your, where attention goes, energy flows. And that's what happened. Everybody had a goal. We tried to work towards it. And Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada completely reciprocated with all of us. And Belgium and Holland, Luxembourg, my god sister Yadurani Mataji, she participated for the first time. She's an elderly lady in her probably late 60s. And on her own, she just took Radhadesh and everybody on board and let's do it. In just last few days, they did 60 sets of Bhagavatam. Germany participated on the first time. I reached out to their GVC, their senior leaders. I did a call with all of them. I begged them that please take part. And we send them sets from here, and then they managed to do 60 sets just like 2 weeks before Bhadra Purnima. And look at what has happened. Reading wanted to do 20, they've landed up doing 27. And Manor wanted to do 300, we landed up doing 325. So our goal was 500, we did 506. Europe goal was 550, and we did it 655. So this is the power of praying to Srila Prabhupada. And this is what happened to all over the world. Look at how the Bhagavatam is penetrating this planet Earth. Please behold this site, ladies and gentlemen. Srimad Bhagavatam has gone into 21,268 houses all over the globe. Do not underestimate the power of this literature. All those colonies, all those homes next to you are also getting the vibration of the Bhagavatam, and they will soon become eligible just because you're studying Srimad Bhagavatam in your home so nicely. And look at how India did 17,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Of course, I mean, India is big. And there, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, all these personalities were inspiring the devotees. Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj gave a wonderful session. And North America did huge. They did 3,000. But for Europe, I think it's a big success considering where we are. Everybody at the management of the temple is very, very happy with the effort. And especially today we went out and had, gave out some prasadam certificates. I was very happy to meet so many chat members. It was really nice. So I'll conclude here and stop the presentation. I'm sorry we couldn't finish today, but is it okay? I hope you liked the presentation, and if you're happy for me to carry on, then we can conclude it tomorrow by your blessings. Please let me know if you're okay with that.
Yes, that's fine.
Wonderful preaching.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Yes, please.
Carry on.
Yes, please. Hari, Hari.
Hare Krishna.
Hare on, Prabhu. Yes, Hari, Hari, Hari bol.
Yes, please,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Thank you.
Hari bol,
So
Hari
I'd
bol.
like to
Please,
thank you so
surely,
much. Thank you.
yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
My blood is boiling.
Your blood is boiling, Palika Mataji. Get ready. I don't know what you're gonna do next after the 25 Bhagavatam said. I'm just wondering what will happen now to the land near you and all the devotees.
So,
So okay, any comments or any reflections? So we have 5-6 minutes before we start the bhajan for this evening.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class.
Hare
I'm just wondering, could you just explain Brihad Madanga, just the meaning of this?
Yeah, sure. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, while speaking to some of his disciples, once said that when you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the Mridanga and the Kartal, the noise of that Mridanga and Kartal probably go to the next door or few doors across from your home. But when one book is printed and distributed, it can go miles, thousands of miles away, and yet actually create or change the whole town. And country like Russia, these books were smuggled into that country because they were not officially allowed to distribute the books. Devotees like Jayapataka Maharaj, Bhaktivigyan Goswami Maharaj, and many other senior disciples of Prabhupada, Tribhuvanath Prabhu, all of these devotees, they risked their life. First Bhagavad Gita actually went undercover through pages, and then it was typed and then printed and then distributed, and then one Bhagavad Gita has created millions of devotees in Russia today. So that's what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur meant, that the sound or the vibration coming from these books can really go wide and far. In his recent lecture, His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj was explaining that he's traveling, he has these books, Transcendental Diary, and he was explaining in that lecture of Bhadra that these books have their minds of their own. He has given a book to somebody in this one country, and that same book was never read, but it was picked up on a shelf in another country when this family moved there, and somebody else became a devotee, and then the whole town became a devotee. That's the power of Srila Prabhupada books, and that's what Brihad Mridanga means, Mataji.
Jai, thank you. Hare Bol. If possible, just one more question. Just
Yeah, go
from
ahead.
the Gideon Bibles, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that, well, I think they distribute it for free. Maybe that's why it's such a
Yeah,
large...
so that's a very good point. The reason they have recently, their strategy has changed, and that's what I'm hoping to do here with the help of all of you. I see this chat group as a big Sankirtan Yatra in the manner, because be it or not, all of you are having an effect on everybody else. I'll give you an example. Say, for example, Hema Mataji is well connected with Pandav Sena. So she's already started to do the damage to the youth by involving them and telling them and talking to them and doing the sets. It may not be happening directly, but it's happening. So Palika Mataji is made sure that every member of her Sangha has a Bhagavatam set. So like that, all of you are somehow or other going and kind of telling others. So my plan is also, or rather I'm praying, is that it's happening through sponsorship. So in the future, especially as we get through the marathon, get close to the Prabhupada marathon this year, it may be a slightly different marathon for us. So we might be placing many books and distributing them as they get sponsored. Now, one thing we try and do is we don't like to give out the books on the street free, because then people sometimes may not value that book and may throw it away. So that's the reason we ask the Lakshmi. It is for their own benefit actually. But we have a project which Nitin Prabhu and Radhadasi Mataji is heading from East, where we place a lot of books and Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, science of self-realization in prisons and hospitals. So we may work on a very good sponsorship plan called Wisdom Sponsorship this year. We've been doing it, but this year we're going to make it really big, Gautam Mataji. So let's see how that works.
Jai Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Any last comment or question? Great. Mitali Mataji, you wanted to mention something?
Sorry, Prabhuji?
Sorry, your name came up on the screen, so I thought you were trying to speak something.
Sorry, sorry, Prabhuji. No, thank you. Thank you.
No, okay, great. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that don't get even, it could sound a bit intimidating and challenging initially, especially to go out. But the magic is that it's like if you want to be a drunkard, all you have to do is hang around with a bunch of drunkards, and naturally you'll get a taste for alcohol and beer and everything else, and soon you'll realize that you perfected that science of being how to get drunk and do nonsensical activities. Similarly, this ecstasy of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you just have to simply hang around for those who have taste for Prabhupada books actually, and those who really appreciate the and value of the books, and you will see that mostly in Prabhupada disciples, and many other devotees for that matter. So, and soon you will get the same taste actually, and when you get the taste of distributing them, it'll take you to another level altogether. So now I would like to invite Hema Mataji to recite this beautiful bhajan. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. 1 second. So please hang on for the next 7-8 minutes. It's a bhajan called Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu from Bhakti Anukula Matra Karera Svikar Song 3 from Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And who's Bhakti Vinod Thakur? The same personality who opened up this marketplace for us actually. And this is coming directly from a book called Sharnagati, and this is in Bengali language. So tomorrow we will again carry the rest of our session and try to conclude it. Please do feel free to invite your friends, anybody who's not been able to attend chat recently, pull them back in, let them see how it is actually to develop some appreciation for Prabhupada books and the magic of Prabhupada book distribution. So I would go up to the translation. Maybe I can invite who's online. Maybe we can have, say, Divya Garangi Mataji, maybe you can do the first 2 translation in English, and then Palika Mataji, and then Garta Mataji. So let's start with Divya Garangi Mataji with the first 2 translations.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees, enthusiastic devotional service, and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the creeper of devotion. Number 2, the holy days like Ekadasi and Janmashtami. 1 minute, the message. Okay. The holy days like Ekadasi and the holy days like Ekadasi and Janmashtami are the mother of devotion for those devotees who respect them. Let the holy places of Krishna's pastimes be my places of worship and bless me.
Hare Krishna. Number 3, may I always visit all the holy places associated with the Leela of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. Number 4, when I hear the sound of the Midanga in my heart, I always desire to join the Kirtan. And then when I hear the bona fide songs describing the Lord Chaitanya's pastime, my heart dances in ecstasy.
Whenever I see the transcendental Sri Vigrahas of Radha Krishna, I am in bliss, for by taking their lordship's prasadam, we can conquer over the material elements. One day while performing devotional practices, I saw my house transformed into Goloka Vrindavan. When I take the Charanamrita of the deity, I see the holy Ganges waters that come from the feet of Lord Vishnu, and my bliss knows no bounds. By seeing the Tulsi tree, my heart feels joy, and Lord Madhava Krishna is also satisfied. When I eat the prasadam favoured by Lord Chaitanya, it is a new life's experience. Lord Chaitanya was very fond of green vegetables, preparations called shak, and there is another song in this book that tells of the amazing effects of this type of prasadam. Bhakti Vinod concludes by saying, whosoever attains the stage of enthusiasm for these devotional practices will be supremely blissful wherever he may be.
Jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Hema Mataji, maybe we can, behind the muted. Hare Krishna. Hema Mataji, please go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna.
So
Yeah.
we can
So
we
we'll
can
do
either
it
chant
together.
with you behind the muted mics,
Yes.
Yes,
as
we
you
won't
chant?
repeat. We won't
Okay.
repeat.
All right.
Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Bhagata Seva Paramasiddhi Premalati Karamula Madhavati Ti Bhagati Janani Jetene Pulankori Krishna Bhagat Pasati Basati Boli Paramadhari Boli Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Gauramaraje Savastane Koralo Brahmanarange Se Savastane Haribami Pranai Bhakta Sange Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Mridanga Bhadya Sunite Mana Abasara Sada Jache Gaura Bihita Kirtana Suni Anande Rodiyanache Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Jugala Murati Dekhiya Mora Paramananda Hoya Prasada Seva Korite Hoya Sakala Prapancha Jaya Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Je dina grehe bhajana dekhi grehte golak bhaya charana sidhu dekhiya ganga sukha sasima paya Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Tulasi dekhi juraya prane Madhava to sami jani Gaura priya saka sevane Jivana sartakamani Shuddha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Bhakti Vinod Krishna Bhajane Anukula Payaja Prati Divase Parama Sukhe Svikara Koryeta Sudha Bhagata Charanarenu Bhajananukula Bhagata Seva Paramasiddhi Premalati Karamula Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, Haribol.
Hare Krishna, wonderful.
Very nice, Mataji. Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Excellent,
Very nice,
excellent.
Mataji. Great, thank you so much. So please, it's a very beautiful bhajan. As you could see, there are many aspects which are highlighted here by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is glorifying the festivals and the Ekadashi here. He's glorifying how the service to the Vaishnavas is the root cause of the creeper of the devotion to grow. And he's recommending the worship of the holy places of the pastimes of the Lord Krishna. And then he's saying, may I always visit these holy places associated with the Leela of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees. And as I explained about Narottam Das Thakur, that he's really making these Leelas accessible to us, and through the access of these Leelas, we can have the access to the Radha and Krishna Leelas. And then he's saying, when I hear the sound of the Mridanga in my heart, I always desire to join in Kirtan. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastime, my heart dances in ecstasy. Whenever I see the transcendental Shri Vigrahas of Radha Krishna, I'm in bliss, for by taking their Lordship Prasad, we can conquer over the material elements. One day while performing devotional practices, I saw my house transformed in Golok Vrindavan. And he's glorifying the Charanamrit from the deities of the Lord. And then he's saying, by how seeing the Tulsi tree, my heart feels joy because she's the mother of devotion. And Lord Chaitanya was very fond of eating the green vegetables, the prasad, which was like the sak vegetables. And finally, Bhaktivinoda Thakur concludes by saying, whosoever attains the stage of enthusiasm for these devotional practices will be supremely blissful wherever he may be. So it's a nice, actually it's a wonderful goal to have these meditations in our daily life of practice, because in this bhajan, if not anything else, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us a complete formula of being happily situated in practicing our devotional service. So thank you so much for choosing this bhajan, Hima Mataji, and for recommending us and for singing. So I'd like to thank all of you for joining us for this session. As I said, it is not my presentation, but I do follow this presentation when I am out or trying to do my service at Bhaktivedanta Manor. I've been entrusted this service by Sutapa Prabhu, who was doing this for many, many years. And then only 2 years ago, he asked me to take this service. And I'm now supported by many of you, especially many leaders like Keshav Gokulanand Prabhu, Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, Hari Kirtan Prabhu, who's now moved to India, but he's always supporting me in some form or other. Rishi Prabhu, and many other, Guru Shakti Mataji and many other devotees are coming forward and taken charge of many wonderful projects which are happening. My wife, Indarika Ramaya, she's taking care of the kids Sankirtan, which we are hoping to evolve as the lockdown stops. So there are plenty of opportunities for all of us to expand this Sankirtan movement, and I will be indebted if you all can help in whatever capacity you're already doing it. It's main thing is we do it for our own purification and to leave everybody with a good impression, which we will cover tomorrow. Till then, please look after yourself, everybody. And thank you very much for joining us this evening in the chat session. And we will see you all tomorrow at 7:45. Bring a friend with you if you can tomorrow. It'll be great. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpataru bhascha kripa sindhu vevacha
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
devotee.